When a shinobi becomes a rogue ninja, they do so with the expectation they'll be hunted down by members of their village and likely killed as a result of the transgressions against the village, whether they be deserved transgressions or they be politically motivated. However, as we've seen in the Naruto franchise, the shinobi who are often listed as rogue ninjas, they wind up being extremely powerful, and every shinobi on the list for today's video is easily above the entry point for being considered Kage level, and some of these characters are in tiers unto themselves, which is why I thought it'd be cool to look at the top 10 strongest rogue ninjas in the series and rank them from being weakest to strongest, while also factoring in their overall danger level and the versatility of their jutsu arsenal. For the purposes of this video, the shinobi who qualify as being a rogue ninja are going to be done by 3 ways. Either they are shinobi listed by their village at some point as being rogue ninjas due to transgressions that they've made that sully the reputation of the village or the village's interests, or there's somebody that's abandoned their village for their own reasons, or they found themselves listed in the bingo book of all 5 nations at one point in the series. As always, while this is my personal opinion, I'm open to hearing more from you guys down in the comment section below. So if you feel as if there's someone who should have been on this list or deserved to be even higher up on the list, feel free to let me know why down in the comment section below. So jumping right into it, we're going to be starting things off at number 10 with Sick Itachi Uchiha. This is the Itachi who, despite having his chronic illness, was strong enough to toy around with and bully 3 of Konoha's elite shinobi during the Search of Tsunade arc, where he left Kakashi in a comatose state and made Kurenai realize that when it comes to genjutsu, she might be considered one of Konoha's elites at genjutsu, but basic Sharingan genjutsu trumps anything she's capable of doing. This Sick Itachi was strong enough that during the battle with Sasuke, he was able to not only dictate the flow of battle, but push Sasuke to the brink in order to force Orochimaru to emerge from the curse mark, battle Orochimaru's Hydra form, defeat that version of Orochimaru, and carry out the battle in a way to where Sasuke believed that he truly had the upper hand over Itachi, when in reality, Zetsu, who was watching the battle, knew otherwise, and so too did Obito once he had a chance to review the fight footage that was recorded by Zetsu, which led to Obito telling Sasuke had Itachi wanted to, he could have killed Sasuke multiple times in that fight. This Sick Itachi had no issues with Sasuke's Kirin, which was powerful enough to destroy the Uchiha hideout, and despite having vision so bad he was seeing doubles and triples of Sasuke, he was stalemating a bloodlusted Sasuke in his shuriken battle, and despite his body failing on him, he was holding the upper hand while holding back in that fight at various points. Based off of the Naruto Jinraiden novel, we know from Sasuke's own internal thoughts that after Team Taka joined him on the cliff, where he's shown in the manga activating his Mangekyo's Sharingan, in the time directly after this, Sasuke straight up confirms that despite having the Mangekyo's Sharingan, the Sick Itachi that he fought was still stronger than him, and that Sasuke would work hard to surpass him. This Sick Itachi has Tsukiyomi, which can kill you if Itachi has killing intent, something that Kakashi himself stated when he wondered why Itachi didn't just kill him in the Search of Tsunade arc. And based off of the Itachi Book of Midnight novel, we know that Itachi's genjutsu can be used in under a picosecond, which is absolutely insane when you look at how fast a picosecond is. This is even more so the case when you realize that this Sick Itachi isn't even at full power because of his illness. At number 9, we have the 6 Paths of Pain as a collective, and as a collective, the 6 Paths of Pain includes the weakened DEVA path. The 6 Paths of Pain were so powerful that Kakashi flat out wondered how Jiraiya was able to even keep up with the 6 Paths of Pain, let alone kill a few of them. And we saw in that arc that Kakashi, who in his own right was a lot stronger than he was in part 1 of Naruto, was having a hard time against 2 of the 6 Paths of Pain. A big part of the reason behind them being so deadly is that on top of each of them having the Rinnegan, due to their numbers and their power, and the person fighting them having no idea about the scope of their powers, it becomes near impossible to take them down when fighting on your own against all of them in a 6 versus 1 battle, though Jiraiya almost succeeded. But it's worth noting Jiraiya is one of the legendary Sannin, and someone who, on top of being the student of the 3rd Hokage, also trained 2 future Hokage, so Jiraiya wasn't necessarily a slouch as a shinobi. Each of the 6 Paths of Pain have a different jutsu, and there are a couple of Pains who have a jutsu that can outright kill you if they can touch you with their attack. Those Pains are the Human Path, who can extract the soul of a person and kill them, and the Naraka Path, who can summon the King of Hell to rip out the tongue of the person that the King of Hell passes judgment on. Given these 2 jutsu require physical contact, dealing with these Pains requires you to do so from a distance, but here's the problem. You also have the DEVA Path, who can push and pull you into oncoming attacks with a 5-second cooldown interval for basic jutsu, and it takes someone of immense physical strength to be able to physically resist the attraction and pull powers, which for reference we saw Naruto needed a crap ton of shadow clones in order to briefly resist the powers of pain when using these jutsu. And in the war arc, Naruto needed to be in his QB chakra mode, and even then Naruto wasn't able to fully resist those powers. The animal path can summon multiple animal summonings at the same time, from a chameleon that can hide the animal path and hide its presence, to birds that can attack from the air, to dogs that can split apart and increase in number, and so many other summonings. The Astra path can make weapons, from melee weapons like hacksaws to rockets to laser beams to shoot off at the enemy. The Preta path can absorb any chakra based jutsu that someone shoots off at the 6 passive pain. As a collective, they're absolutely deadly. Not even Sage Mode Naruto, who technically didn't even fight them alone because he had the Toad summonings there with him who could split up some of the work, like the summons that were fighting off the animal path, so Naruto could focus on the main body of the animal path and the 6 passive pain while also dealing with the occasional animal summoning. And he also had Manpa Toad there to use Frog Genjutsu. At number 8, we have War Arc Orochimaru, and at this point we've got to explain something that I still see daily, which is that a lot of people don't realize the Orochimaru who you saw fight against the 3rd Hokage is weaker than the Orochimaru we see during the 4th Ninja War, to a point where it's absolutely laughable. They are not the same fighter at all. War Arc Orochimaru beats the brakes off of the Orochimaru who fought against the 3rd Hokage. This isn't my headcanon. This isn't me making some complex equations, factor in how many septillion gigatons of force Orochimaru makes when he swings his tongue in a 45-degree angle. This is me looking at the lore and saying that Orochimaru is undoubtedly more powerful in the 4th Ninja War than he was when he fought against Hiruzen Sarutobi. Upon getting released from Anko's seal, Orochimaru promptly goes over to Sage Mode Kabuto and absorbs the chakra that Kabuto's in possession of. By doing this, we know from Naruto's data book that Orochimaru gained all the DNA that Kabuto loaded up into his body. So the DNA of the Sound 5, the DNA of Suigetsu, the DNA of Karin, the DNA of Jugo. This means any Kekkei Genkai they're in possession of, just as Kabuto was able to use their Kekkei Genkai of the Sound 5, so too can Orochimaru do so now. Orochimaru then went on to get an additional power-up by taking over Zetsu's body, which gives him an undying body that he was seeking out in a body made out of Hashirama cells, which every Naruto fan knows Hashirama cells, with just a few of them, come with a nasty power buff, and considering that Orochimaru's entire body is loaded up with Hashirama cells, that has to be factored in now. We then saw Orochimaru regain the chakra that was sealed away into the Reaper Death God by the 3rd Hokage, which means this Orochimaru is not only stronger now, but he's now in access of all of his jutsu that was sealed away. This War Arc Orochimaru was strong enough that in Naruto Volume 65, he was able to completely shut down a pissed off Tobirama, which Hashirama directly states was made possible because most of Orochimaru's body is filled with Hashirama cells, which in turn increases power, something that Tobirama begrudgingly admits is the case. Orochimaru, according to the 4th data book, on top of everything that we just listed, is also one of the few shinobi to master all 5 changes in chakra nature naturally, and given his vast knowledge of ninjutsu and chakra, is rivaled only by the 2nd Hokage and the 3rd Hokage. That makes him one of the most dangerous shinobi on the list. Between his body modification jutsu allowing him to stretch his limbs and his penchant for using poison snakes in battle, Orochimaru is a problem, and that's before we even factor in he can use Edo Tensei to summon more powerful shinobi to control on the battlefield. However, for as impressive as Orochimaru got in the war, he still falls short of this next character that we have here on the list at number 7. At number 7, we have the DEVA path, who was at full power and close to Nagato's location. This DEVA path was at the peak of his power, where Nagato focused all of his chakra into one pain, making all the bodies of the other 5 pains collapse on the ground. This pain then went on to blow up the entire Hidden Leaf Village, and in the Naruto Parent and Child Day novel, we learned that 16 years after Pain's attack, there are sections of the village where the foundation is still cracked too badly to where it can't even be repaired, even with all the technological advancements that Konoha has made. That pain did this much damage. When Nagato was able to put all of his chakra into the DEVA path, this pain was able to take the attacks and fight all Six Tails Naruto, who who was outright bloodlusted, all while using Chibaku Tensei. Pain was not only able to contain Six Tails Naruto, but it took Naruto transforming into the 7th and 8th tail, where the QB almost was brought back to life in a physical body in order to break out of the Chibaku Tensei, which is downright disgusting, especially when you consider this was only one half of the 9 tails. This pain by himself is heads and shoulders stronger than the other 6 passive pain, which is why I had to include it in the list by itself. While Orochimaru did get some really huge power buffs during the war, there's nothing in this that suggests that War Arc Orochimaru is on this level, and I can think of 8 other characters who exist between the DEVA path at full power and War Arc Orochimaru, which isn't a disrespect, it's just a testament to how strong full power DEVA path actually is. At number 6, we're going to be going with healthy Itachi Uchiha. This is the Itachi Uchiha who isn't plagued by his illness and doesn't have stamina issues, which means he can do everything that sick Itachi can do, but can do so without having to worry about his stamina and energy bar constantly decreasing as the fight goes on, even when he himself isn't actually doing anything. We get a good idea of how strong healthy Itachi is by looking at Edo Itachi, who, while he isn't at full power, we know from Tobirama's statement in the manga that the Edo Tensei used by Kabuto and Orochimaru actually brought them back a lot closer to their full power, though we don't have a quantifiable number on just how close to full power they actually are, so it can be anywhere from 90% to potentially 95% of their true power. However, that being said, this version of Itachi was able to attack and slap away the Susanoo arm of a pissed off EMS Sasuke and able to easily catch Killer B, a perfect Jinchuriki. He was able to catch B off guard more than once, and had this been a fight where Itachi wasn't giving away his location, B would have been tagged by some of those attacks that he didn't actually see coming. This same Itachi was able to keep up with the speed of KCM1 Naruto and fight off this KCM1 Naruto while also having a conversation with them, and it's worth noting that Kabuto was forcing them to fight, so this wasn't them putting on a show for Kabuto. The only thing Kabuto didn't do was strip away their personality, but he was in control of their bodies and forcing them to fight at full power. Itachi, in a body that wasn't plagued by an illness, was able to break down Nagato's 6-pass jutsu almost immediately and find ways to exploit their weaknesses, and then against an enemy much stronger than himself in Sage Mode Kabuto, Itachi more than once was able to save Sasuke from attacks meant to capture him. While he would have died during that fight more than once if he had a living body, it's worth noting that someone as smart as Itachi was likely taking advantage of the benefits of Edo Tensei during that fight, and had he been alive, he would have been more cautious. Healthy Itachi would rank somewhere in the ballpark of KCM1 Naruto to around EMS Sasuke based off of what we've seen. Going into our top 5, we're going to be going with healthy Nagato, who can use his legs and has his Rinnegan. This Nagato, as we've seen, is able to summon the dragon to snatch out the souls of anyone who he's fighting, able to spam the 6-pass jutsu and use multiple 6-pass jutsu at the same time or back to back. This Nagato is arguably the most impressive when it comes to using the basic 6-pass jutsu that every Rinnegan user gains when they have the Rinnegan. His body, being that of an Uzumaki, gives him the ability to use the Rinnegan jutsu multiple times without having to worry about the stamina or chakra levels, which makes him one of the most dangerous shinobi on this list. This Nagato is also able to use all 5 changes in chakra nature and has had decades to master the jutsu associated with those chakra natures, because when he awakened the Rinnegan and learned those ninjutsu under Jiraiya, he did so at a young age. This healthy Nagato was low-key bullying Naruto and Killer B during their fight, though it is worth noting that Naruto was freaking out for quite a bit of the fight until Itachi got him to calm down. But I do believe an extremely solid argument can be made that healthy Nagato, who would be stronger than the Edo Nagato we saw in the war, is significantly stronger than KCM1 Naruto, who Edo Nagato fought during the war, which is absolutely insane to think about and makes you realize how much of a nerf Nagato had during the series, despite the fact that he's already one of the most powerful shinobi that have ever existed. At number 4, we have Sage Mode Kabuto. Sage Mode Kabuto is just downright disgusting. Being able to fight off both Edo Mangekyo Sharingan Itachi and Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan Sasuke, and doing quite well against both of them, Sage Mode Kabuto is a powerhouse. Due to ramming himself full of so much DNA that Bambietto from Bleach is probably jealous right now, Kabuto gained a crazy amount of power heading into the war. He gained power from taking Orochimaru's remains into his being, taking the DNA of the Sound 5, Karen Uzumaki, Jugo, Suigetsu, and giving himself access to their abilities and their Kekkei Genkai. He also has Edo Tensei in his back pocket and was able to control a large number of Edo Tensei, including stripping away their personalities if he chose to do so in order to have them fight bloodlusted, though the disadvantage is that Kabuto has to ideally keep himself secluded on the battlefield when using a high number of shinobi, but when he fought against Sasuke and Itachi, the Edo Tensei were still locked in battle. So Kabuto using Edo Tensei isn't a sitting duck. Sage Mode Kabuto is able to use the jutsu like the White Rage Jutsu that can blind his enemy and paralyze them. He's also able to change the battlefield around him using nature energy to turn the environment into a weapon that can produce spikes so fast that even the Sharingan has trouble following it and reacting to its speed. Sage Mode Kabuto being this high up on the list is even more impressive when you realize that just about everyone on this list, with the exception of himself and Orochimaru, they all have a dojutsu. At number 3, we have War Arc Obito, and for this one, so as to not have multiple different versions of Obito on this list, we're just going to be lumping all of the War Arc Obitos into one character. So White Mask, one Rinnegan Obito who had the 6 pass of Obito and fought against Naruto, Guy, and Killer Bee, and Kakashi and Ten Tails Jinchuriki Obito. We're considering all of their feats into one for the purpose of this video. By Obito's own words, it wasn't that he wasn't able to perform the basic Rinnegan Jutsu, it's more so he didn't want to waste his chakra using those jutsu because he knew Kakashi and Guy and Naruto knew how to counter the jutsu and he didn't want to waste chakra. White Mask Obito was able to fight off Naruto and Guy using the inner gates, Kakashi and Killer Bee all by himself, reacting to attacks and planning counterattacks the whole time, which is really impressive given how powerful each of these shinobi are. After getting his mask destroyed, we see him not only fight Kakashi evenly in taijutsu, but we later learn that Obito is actually pulling in Itachi, dictating the flow of battle to get the desired outcome, all while fooling Kakashi, which was to have the seal in his heart destroyed by Kakashi. Between having mastery of all 5 changes in chakra nature due to having the Rinnegan, this Obito can also produce chakra rods to absorb the chakra of those struck by them and combine his fire release with his Kamui, which is really nasty when you consider what this actually means. As a Ten Tails Jinchuriki, Obito was able to bully the Edo Hokage, even taking Minato's arms in the process, and able to perform some of the most impressive displays of power that we have in the Naruto manga up until this point. And due to having the True Seeking Orbs, which Obito can use either for attack purposes or for defense, he's easily one of the most dangerous Naruto characters to ever live. Due to being the Ten Tails Jinchuriki, he was also able to use the 6 pass power, which is not 6 pass Sage Mode, which is a different power that is given directly by Hagoromo, but 6 pass power comes from having the chakra of the 9 Biju, and due to this, Obito was on God mode for a large portion of his time as a Jinchuriki. While Obito himself was never technically listed in the bingo book, he was listed under the alias of Tobi, and the 5 nations did enter into a war thinking he was Madara Uchiha, so that actually counts. At number 2, we're going to be going with Madara Uchiha. Similar to what we have with Obito, this is a technicality since the 5 nations thought they were going to war with the real Madara Uchiha. However, it's worth noting he technically became a rogue ninja when he left the village after its founding. Like Obito, we're lumping all versions of War Arc Madara, from Edo Madara to Blind Madara to Double Rinnegan Madara with the God Tree absorbed and 3-eyed Madara all into one. As an Edo Tensei, Madara was shown bullying the Shinobi Alliance in Naruto Shippuden episode 322, one of the most iconic episodes in the franchise. We see him casually toying around with not just the 5 Kage, which were promoted as being the greatest fighting force of the 5 nations, but he was also shown toying around with Kyuubi Cloak Naruto while Obito fought against Kakashi, leaving Naruto panting in exhaustion following their fight. He then went on to bully the wood clones of Hashirama, being bored while doing so, and once he was revived using Rinne Rebirth, Madara not only dogged out Sage Mode Naruto inside, but he also left Sasuke at death's doorstep and made light of Sage Mode after he absorbed the chakra from Hashirama, saying how easy it was to use and that Sage Mode was overrated. Madara, as a Jinchuriki with only 1 Rinnegan, was able to fight off 8th Gate Guy, who was getting some assistance from people like Minato, who were teleporting away the Truth Seeking Orbs that Madara was aiming at Guy, and he would have killed Guy had Naruto not stepped in with his 6 pass Sage Mode activated when he kicked away the Truth Seeking Orb to save guy. After getting bullied by 6-pass Chakra Mode Naruto and Rinnegan Sasuke, Madara would get an additional power up by absorbing the God Tree and acquiring his second Rinnegan, and then getting the Rinne Sharingan to cast Infinite Tsukiyomi. This is on top of having jutsu like the Light Fang Jutsu, which move at light speed, and being able to use Storm Release and manifest Limbo clones that have the same power level of the original Madara and don't divide his power between the clones like, say, Shadow clones would actually do. Madara is pretty broken. Now, at number 1, we have War Arc Sasuke, which ranges from EMS Sasuke to Rinnegan Sasuke, who fought against Kage and Naruto. This Sasuke started out the war fighting against the Zetsu army and Kabuto, and when using his EMS, he was shown tracking and keeping pace with the ranged attacks of Ten Tails Obito, and when he got his Rinnegan, he bullied one Rinnegan Madara, the same one Rinnegan Madara who Might Guy had to use the 8th gate and was on the brink of death while fighting. His perfect Susanoo had surprising durability, being able to withstand 4 hits from Kaguya's vacuum punch jutsu before it eventually got destroyed. While he himself didn't do much of the heavy lifting against Kaguya, it's worth noting that Kaguya, both the weaker version who emerged out of Madara's body and the version who powered up right before she was defeated, both versions of Kaguya are significantly stronger than Jubi Madara. Meanwhile, following the battle, we see Sasuke perform genjutsu so advanced that even the Sage of 6 Paths, someone who has seen all kinds of things during his lifetime and during his thousands of years as Chakra Space Goo, even Hagoromo was shocked that Sasuke could put the 9 Biju on a genjutsu simultaneously, and even Kurama, who was helping Naruto fight against Sasuke, flat out stated that Sasuke, while he was a newbie using the Rinnegan, what Sasuke was doing when he created Indra's Arrow was something that required the Sage of 6 Paths level skill. This Sasuke using Indra's Arrow and carefully controlling the amount of chakra mixed between himself and the 9 Biju was able to counter a 6-pass amp Rasen Shuriken Biju Dama that was additionally powered up by Kurama, stating that he literally drew in all the nature energy in the area, and the combined blast was enough to make a cataclysmic event so large of scale that it not only changed the landscape of the final valley, but it also made shockwaves that could be felt several countries away by Kakashi and Sakura, which, as a reminder, their fight was in the Land of Fire at the final valley. Sakura and Kakashi were back at the battlefield of the 4th Great Ninja War, which spanned across multiple countries. That being said, this is my list for the 10 strongest rogue ninjas in the series. If we can hit 4,000 likes on this video within a week of uploading, I'll make the top 25 strongest rogue ninjas in the series.